I thought I had a chance, but now that I've met him, I realize I don't have any chance at all. That is so embarrassing. Brazilian has had times that it has like really hurt. I've made $5,000, but I fear that I'm getting my hopes up just to be disappointed. I don't really want to have a wedding. Are there any secrets you keep from social media? I do. Get ready with me to talk about the things I don't usually talk about. I asked you guys for questions that you were curious about, of things that I don't usually address or things that you don't always feel comfortable asking, and so I let you submit questions anonymously, which I kind of thought was really fun. So if you ever want more of these, let me know. But starting off with the most asked about topic, how long have you been dating your boyfriend? What is it like living with a significant other? Are you happy with your boyfriend? Any plans to get married? How did you meet your boyfriend? How long have you guys been dating? What are your thoughts about marriage? My boyfriend Zach and I met whenever we were both 16 sophomores in high school. We met through a mutual friend who at the time was like, Anna, you have to talk to this boy that I've met at school. And I was like, I'm not really interested. But she texted me off of his phone so that we would each like have each other's numbers. And then I was like, I'll give it a try. So we started texting before we actually started talking. And then we met in person. It was sometime in like April 2016. He brought me little chicken nuggets in person, and that's how we met. And then I cried afterwards because I was like, oh, he's actually a lot cuter in person than I thought he was. And in my head, I was like, I thought I had a chance, but now that I've met him, I realize I don't have any chance at all. And so I was very upset. Popping in so quick here to tell you about the sponsor of today's video, which is Magic Bra. I'm so excited to tell you about them because I personally have not found a bra that I have actually really liked in years, like longer than I want to tell you. So I was so thrilled to be able to try out Magic Bra, and even more thrilled when I experienced firsthand just how well they can fit, how supportive they can be while also being comfortable. Personally, I got the Magic Push-Up Support Corset Posture Bra, like everything you could want in a bra, and this is what it comes looking like. Now I'm not gonna show you it on me, but if I did, it does good things. Let's just say that. Something else that I love that I didn't even know I needed in a bra is how thick the sides are. Personally me, the way that I am shaped, it is hard to escape the little back fat, you know, that normal bras do. And so I love the fact that this bra actually fits my body for how it is shaped, instead of me trying to squeeze and pinch and fit into a bra that's not made for me. Something that I love about Magic Bra is their diversity in the bras. Depending on what you personally need in a bra, you can look at their site and there's something for you. Some bras on their site that run on the like regular size scale go from small to 5X. And then the cup-sized bras as well, you can pick the band that works for you and the cup that works for you. I was able to secure a discount code for you, so by using the link in my description, you can then use BEA20, that's BEA20, for 20% off your order. I cannot wait for the next event that comes up in my life where I get to wear this little guy, but you best believe I'll be posting pictures of it when it does. But we continued to talk and we started officially dating. He was my boyfriend on June 25th, 2016, which makes us coming up on 8 years together, which I feel like when people hear that, they're like, oh my gosh, 8 years? I usually do that for more of a distance. 2 of those years were high school. 4 of those years were college. We're still babies. We moved in together in 2021. I graduated college. Some people don't know this. I graduated college in 3 years. Like my undergrad was 3 years. And so Zach and I are the same age, but I graduated college and then I moved to Atlanta to be with him for his senior year of college. And that was my grad school year. How is it living with a significant other? Right now, it's pretty great. Zach and I very much just like love hanging out with each other, which I feel like is the basis for any good relationship, and also is probably why we've lasted this long, is that we are best friends, BFFs, and then also love each other on a deeper level than that too. But even though right now it's great, it definitely is an adjustment living with someone. Whenever we first moved in together, we had a third roommate as well, like it wasn't just us, which I feel like puts a little damper on like truly getting to know what it's like living with each other, because it wasn't just us, you know? So that was kind of weird. But we lived all 3 of us together for 2 years, and then this past summer is whenever Zach and I got our first apartment, this one that is just us. Communication is key. I feel like the biggest thing we talk about amongst like actually living together that could be a point of contention is stuff like shared household duties, doing the chores, that kind of thing. And then also, honestly, our apartment is quite small and it can be tough sometimes just having 2 people who are always in such close quarters to each other. For example, we were just talking about it because he just headed to work, and so that's why I get to film this YouTube video. But like even for YouTube, it can be hard living with a significant other because it's not always fair to him to be like, can you leave so I can film this? But in our apartment, if he's here here, I can't really film a sit down video quite like this. What are your thoughts on marriage, and will you guys get married? Yes, we will. At some point. I think it is so special to have just like one person that you commit yourself to spending a lifetime with. And I don't know, I feel like to me it's less about the commitment and just more about like living life together. Not to say that nothing will change, because obviously like it will, like even just like legally it will once we do get married, but like for our relationship, nothing will really change. Like at this point, even though we're not engaged, like we're just dating, but both Zach and I know that like we're spending a lifetime together because we want to, and there's no one else I would rather do that with. I do feel like, sorry if this is like disappointing, just based on like the person that I am, I don't really want to have a wedding, like at all. Like I don't, I don't think I would enjoy my own wedding if I were to have one. And I feel like if I were to have a wedding, it would be pretty much entirely for other people and not for me, which can be important sometimes, but also like, I don't know, we can throw a little party for something else for people. So just to give you a heads up, I do feel like at one day I'm gonna probably just be like, hey, we eloped, surprise. Because I feel like for both Zach and I, like I said, not much would change whenever we're married because we already know neither of us are going anywhere. But it would be fun to just have like a special moment together to like not even start the rest of our life together, but like continue the rest of our life together. And for me, that would be so much more like meaningful and comfortable and fun to be like a very small private elopement than a big wedding and a big ceremony. I enjoy attending other people's weddings. It's just not, it's not what I see for myself. Give me room to change that opinion. If a couple years down the line I start planning this like huge wedding, then I change my opinion, but that's my opinion right now. Someone also asked, will you have kids? Eventually, God willing. It's like a tractor driving by. But yes, eventually I hope to have kids. I just am still a child myself, I feel like, and so not soon. I do look forward to that time of my life. I love children. Hope to be a great mother one day, but just not yet. I mean, once you have kids, there's no going back. They're around for life. And there's also things that are just like, would love to be more financially secure, would love to have like, maybe like own a house or like a townhouse or something by that point, which definitely am not doing right now. And like something that I've considered, I have no idea how, don't hold me to anything. I don't see myself being a stay-at-home mom because I think I would probably drive myself nuts doing that. But I do think it'd be fun to like not work entirely full-time once I do have a child, if that is something that I am like able to pull off financially. So don't expect that soon, but I mean at some point, yeah. Trying to see if there's anything I missed in all of those questions. Do you have any advice or thoughts for single people? No, but because like none of my advice would actually be good considering I haven't been single in any like meaningful time of life. I mean, when I was 16, I felt like I was behind the times. Zach was my first kiss at 16, and I would be like so embarrassed at 16, like before I met Zach, of like, oh my gosh, I'm such a late bloomer, like, oh my gosh, no one's wanted to kiss me. Like, so if you're 16 and feeling that way, there are so much bigger things in life, and you would so much rather wait and find like a great person for you than have any kind of experience that's subpar, I feel like. But I feel like it's not fair for me to give like actual true dating advice because I've never truly dated. Next, got some financial questions, which I do think is kind of funny because I am quite financially transparent, but I feel like more so on TikTok than YouTube. I feel like in YouTube I'll do like the little sections of my reset or something that I'll talk about like what I spent and what I make and everything. But just for full transparency now, I make $27.46 an hour, and I do get paid for the hours that I work. So even though my schedule is a 40-hour work week, if I do work through a lunch or if I do have to stay late a day or something like that, I do get paid for that, which is nice. No volunteer work for your job. On top of that, obviously I do get some income from YouTube and social media related things. It waxes and wanes so much that I don't think I would ever feel comfortable relying on YouTube for income. Because there have been months that I've made $5,000 and then there's been months that I've made 50. And that's just kind of how the cookie crumbles. So YouTube doesn't necessarily like influence my lifestyle, but it has influenced my ability to save some, because any social media related income I truly send straight to savings. What is your biggest financial advice? You seem as though you have a great way of keeping track of your finances. It is definitely something I struggle with, especially now while I'm in grad school. Right now, I'm probably the best that I ever have been financially, and I think that's probably because I am now out of grad school and have been working for a couple of years. And so just know that whatever you see from me now, as far as like organization and saving and budgeting and everything, I have not always been as free and relaxed about it as I am now. And videos through grad school would probably reflect that some. I think my biggest financial advice probably is to not overconsume, which can be so hard to do and so hard to break habits if you are in habits of like spending. I think it's become very, excuse me, I think it's become very normalized to live way outside someone's means. And there are people that live paycheck to paycheck in this world that do not need to be living paycheck to paycheck. That is different than poverty. Don't misconstrue what I'm saying, but as far as like lifestyle creep, like once you start making more money, start focusing on like building a foundation of saving so that you'll feel more like comfortable and secure as you're going through life, instead of as soon as you start making more money, increasing like what it costs to live your life too, because it's a lot harder to reverse that. It's not fun advice. I wish I had the money to just like do whatever I wanted at any point. I feel like what's been helpful to me though is the fact that I've never had like a lot of money. Like through high school, through college, if I was spending any money, it was like from me working. So I had to be quite frivolous because I obviously wasn't making that much in high school and in college. In grad school, I did start to get a little bit of help from rent, not anymore though. And I still worked through grad school too. Saying all of that to say, it is easier for me to say like, oh, don't overconsume, don't overspend, because like throughout most of my life, I've been like so money anxious and money like very frugal. So for me, I almost have to like encourage myself to spend money on things I actually need. Then I have to like stop myself from spending money on things I don't need. But all of that to say, the things that have helped me be non-financially anxious anymore is having an emergency fund. So like saving money, because right now with an emergency fund, I don't feel as anxious because I know like if something were to happen, I have a buffer. I have funds for an emergency. Finances are hard though because they're so individualized. Someone asked, do you think you get paid well at your current job? Yes, in that whenever I was applying for this job, I do think that this was the highest paying job that I could realistically get with 1 year of experience outside of grad school. And this is the most that I've ever made at a job before. So like in those aspects, yes. In other aspects, I would love to get paid more. I do get an annual raise at my job, so I haven't gotten one yet. I think it'll be in June when I get it. And they keep saying it'll probably be around 3%. And I keep getting my hopes up because I really hope that it's more than that. But I fear that I'm getting my hopes up just to be disappointed. 3% for me would be like, oh my gosh, I just broke that. I've been needing to get a new like brow product, but now I extra do considering it's broken. For me, getting a 3% raise would be $28.08, which again would be the most I've ever made in my life. I do feel like I do great work and I feel like I adapted really well and I feel like I'm really good at the job I do right now. And so I just hope that that gets maybe reflected to go even higher. Because even though I'm financially secure right now, there are things I would like to do that I don't know if will be possible on my current salary. Granted, something that helps dual income household, both me and Zach. I do make more than him, but I also have a higher degree than him at this point. But even like trying to save for a new car, which I've mentioned a couple of times, is like really hard on the salary that I'm currently working with. Buying a house will be impossible on the salary that I'm working with right now. Planning trips and stuff is a little stressful. Not impossible, but just a little stressful because I would love to make more, but life is definitely livable on what I'm making now. Let's see what else. You've mentioned laser hair removal. Do you like it and have you found that it's worth it? I started laser hair removal, would have been October 2022, and I was getting both my armpits and whole Brazilian done. Short answer, I have really liked it. I have really found it to be worth it. Long answer, laser hair is not a removal necessarily, like even though it's called that, but it's more of a hair growth reduction agent, I guess. And so each session that you do, your hair grows back less and less, but you still like have to get touch-ups and stuff even after you're done. So I do it through Milan laser hair removal, and I like them because one, they're like a national chain that's like trusted and hires nurses, and I don't know, I trust them. But also whenever you buy a package, you're buying it for lifetime. So like for now until the end of my life, or for now until Milan goes out of business, I don't know. I can always schedule an armpit or a Brazilian treatment. For me, why I chose to do laser hair removal for both of those areas is because one, I would say it was kind of an insecurity for me just because I have like very pale skin and dark hair and like dark thick hair. So like for my armpits, I could shave my armpits at night and then by the next morning, we've already we've got a shadow, we've got growth. And same with Brazilian, which like the Brazilian area, I would be so stressed on like vacations and stuff because everyone gets to choose what they're comfortable with body hair, but I just so much would have rather not have any. And then also shaving was like very painful no matter what I did to like prevent razor burn and like to shave and like use a brand new razor and all of that. Just like the nature of my hair, there was always razor burn, there was always ingrown hairs. It just like hurt. And then still didn't even like look so beautiful and smooth. I hated waxing. I got waxed like twice ever in my life. I hated the fact that you had to grow out your hair before waxing, and then I also like could not stand the feeling of it. That's like the most painful thing that possibly I've ever experienced was a wax. And I would only get bikini waxes. I wouldn't even get Brazilian waxes. So I've been getting treatments for I guess about a year and a half now. I've officially graduated my Brazilian area, just meaning like I don't schedule them regularly anymore, but I can go for a touch-up anytime that I want to. And while there still is hair growth, like it's not just like a dolphin, you know? It is fine enough and thin enough and grows slowly enough that shaving is an absolute breeze, like absolute breeze. And so that I find to be so very worth it. My armpits, I'm still going to get done. They say that it's rare, like usually Brazilian and armpits hair would reduce at the same amount because it's like similar hair. But for me, I feel like my armpits still have a way to go before I would graduate them. But I do, like I shave so much less frequently. When I shave, it's so much more effective, I feel like, and like lasts longer. So laser hair was definitely worth it for me. Brazilian has had times that it has like really hurt, but never worse than the waxes that I would get. So that's the tea on that. Will you do another half marathon? I have no idea. My first half marathon was this like, my brain became attached to it and I was like, let me do something that I can accomplish. And I did it. Like I trained for it. I was excited the entire time training for it. I was so proud of myself for doing my half marathon. And then I tried to be like, cool, I'm a runner now. Like, let me sign up for another half marathon. I'm gonna do that one too. And I did not want to at all. And it's really hard to train for like long runs like that if you don't want to, if you're not feeling it. So as we know, I did not run the one in February that I had signed up for because life just got to be too much and I didn't want to prioritize training. So I might run another half marathon again, especially I can imagine it like if I'm ever in a rut with life and I'm like, I need to accomplish something, maybe I'll run a half marathon again. Right now, I'm not training for one and I don't know when the next one would be that I would be training for. Are there any secrets you keep from social media? Slash, because I feel like this kind of goes along with it. If someone met you in real life, what would they be most surprised about? Maybe those are two different questions. I'll address the secrets one and then the other one. I don't think there are secrets that I keep from social media in the sense of like, I have like specific topics in my head that I'm like, I am not gonna talk about this. Like they do not get to know about this. And with that too, I don't think I've ever like fully lied either on YouTube. I feel like if there are things I'm not comfortable talking about, I just don't bring them up. Things that I don't talk about on social media would be like anything involving other people that would like maybe give personal information of theirs that they wouldn't want shared. So like, I don't talk about like drama in my life or like what's going on with my family or like stuff like that. I just don't talk about it because that's like other people's business. And then same like thinking about how my professional life is a part of my social media as well. I always talk about my job in a way that I'm assuming my manager, my supervisor, my CEO, and all of my clients will watch it, which can be kind of anxiety inducing at times. And also the chances of all of those people watching a YouTube video of mine is so low, but just with like what I talk about and confidentiality, like that's very important to me to be very ethical in social media usage as a social worker. So those are definitely like secrets that I keep from social media and that I never even want to like get into the gray area with anything confidential or anything ethical talking about my job at all. So I guess that's the secret, is that there's like lots of stuff that's work related that I don't talk about, but because like I'm not doing that. I think whenever I worked at jail, there were probably more like quote unquote secrets that I would keep or like stuff that I specifically would not talk about. And that would be like after finishing a day at work and then getting on the camera and like being like, oh, I did a few assessments today, blah, 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 blah. And I didn't also include things like, that's the stuff that I would not talk about. And also because like trauma, I feel like most everything I'm open with. There's not much in my life you don't know, but nothing purposeful that I'm like keeping from social media, some big secret. Going to the next one. if someone met you in real life, what would they be most surprised about? I feel like it's always just shocking because like I edit myself in these videos. Like when I'm talking, I take out breaths, I take out I take out like all kinds of, if I stumble over my words, I'll cut that out. And obviously when you're talking to someone in real life, that doesn't happen, which is much more real and natural, you know, but you probably like know my voice and know how I talk, except that would be different if you meet me in real life because I would be unedited. Sometimes people are surprised that I'm short. I'm 5'3", which isn't like teeny tiny, but I feel like without seeing someone in person, I feel like most people just like generally assume someone's like average, like a 5'6" or so, and so it's just different whenever that is different. I feel like my side profile is so different than my front profile. I don't know if that's true or if that's just like a personal thing I have going on, but I feel like people would be surprised by my side. Like, did you know I look like this? You know I look like this, but did you know about this one? I guess that kind of leads me to a different question I saw, which is how are you confident and do you ever get insecure? I personally aim to be like, I'm gonna say body neutral, but just like self-neutral, I guess. I don't aim to be confident. Like, I don't know, I don't mean this in a bad way. Just stay with me till the end. I never aim to like look at myself in the mirror and be like, you baddie, like, wow, look at you. You are so gorgeous. You are so hot. You look so good. That would be a wonderful feeling, but that's not necessarily like my goal. And I mean, sometimes I do that. Sometimes I look in the mirror, I'm like, oh, you go, girl. But my goal is to just like truly not think about my body and not think about how I look and not like think about myself all that much. Self-reflection, yes, but not like in a, am I good or bad? Do people like me or not? Like my goal is just for that to not be a factor in my life. Now, I am definitely not perfect at that, but I do think as I have grown up, I have less times of feeling like super insecure, or I have less times of like feeling the urge to like body check in a mirror or something like that. Be like, how am I looking today? Is it good or bad? Because I used to be very insecure. I used to be insecure to like, I don't know, in like a really bad way to where it would affect, and I'm talking about like high school and stuff, like it would affect my social life, it would affect things that I would get joy from, and that like I never felt happy because I was always thinking about how like awful I was and how ugly I was and how everyone else was cooler than me, which is not beneficial to like suck joy from yourself like that in life. And also like I would be so aware that I was doing it through high school and like wouldn't know how to stop. I don't know if I've really put like specific work into that, or if it's just like truly as you grow older you find importance in other things, and so that just like stops becoming as much of a worry. There are 100% still insecurities that I feel in myself and that like I'll have bad days with often, but what's wild is that like it's so rare that like you maybe couldn't guess like what my greatest insecurities are, and if you could, don't tell me them. But I definitely have bad days, but I also try to just like not think about it. I feel like the way that I fight like insecure days that I have is not like, oh no, because really like you're actually so beautiful. I try to just be like, it literally does not matter. Like it does not matter. And I really think that the people that appear most confident in this world are just the people who think about themselves the least. Because even the most beautiful, beautiful people oftentimes can be so insecure. And I just want to live a life where I just like don't think about it. Because really, there are so much more important things in this world than like how you look. Just for relatability purposes, and since I'm talking about things I don't usually talk about though, some insecurities of mine. I carry weight like right here in my back to where I always have those little back creases, no matter like whenever I've been at my teeny tiniest in life. Like it doesn't matter how much body fat total is on my body, I will always have those back creases, and that's like hard for me to accept. Are there so much more important things in life? Yes, absolutely. But that is like a big insecurity of mine. Other insecurities, my side profile. I mean, I just showed you, but there's just like, there are some days where I'm like, that is so embarrassing that people see me from the side. Like if everyone could just be straight on, we would all be so much happier. But like just the whole combination of like nose, no lips, chin, double chin, the side profile, let's not talk about it anymore. I like don't really have that much left to do getting ready wise, but let's see what else was asked. There's still quite a few social work questions, which I probably will address. It's just not in this video, because this one is the one, the things I don't usually talk about, and social work I do talk about. I definitely do talk about that. Oh, this will be a fun one to end off on. How long have you been in Atlanta for? What's it like living there? And do you think you'll put your roots down there, so to speak? Have you lived somewhere else before? And if so, what are some differences between Atlanta and that place? So like I mentioned before, I moved to Atlanta to be with Zach. So I didn't necessarily like pick Atlanta for Atlanta. I picked it because Zach was here. That being said, I really have fallen in love with it. I'm going on 3 years living here and will be here for the upcoming future that I know. Let's just say we'll be here a guaranteed 6 more years. Zach's got some things going on. We're staying in Atlanta. I have lived other places before. This is the first like city that I've lived in, but I grew up in Columbia, Missouri. Columbia, Missouri, I think is like 120,000 population or so. So like a town, but not like an urban city. Really loved it. Has such a close place in my heart. I don't necessarily think I would want to move back there now, just because I feel like I've spread my wings. I've flown out a little bit and don't really want to return for now. Give me room for my opinion to change if it ever does in the future. But from Columbia, where I lived my entire life growing up, I then moved to Tuscaloosa for attending the University of Alabama. Tuscaloosa, I don't think I ever really got to know it like as a town as much, just because like I was going to school there, so I was like on campus. But Tuscaloosa I think is a similar size to Columbia, but it feels so much more university centric than Columbia did, because Mizzou, University of Missouri, is in Columbia, so it was a college town, but like there also was a lot of Columbia that was uncollege related, whereas like for Tuscaloosa, everything I feel like circles back to the University of Alabama. So it was fine, but I would not live there past college, personally, me. But then from Tuscaloosa, I moved to Atlanta. So I've had 3 cities under my belt. As far as like putting down roots here, while I do really love Atlanta, it is very expensive. Like I said before, my current salary, I could not buy a house here. Maybe once you get like further out into the suburbs, maybe then could. But I hate commutes, and so does Zach. And working inside the city, it means I don't want to live outside the city. So like, yes, I would love to stay here and I would love to like root here, but also I just like don't know how that's gonna work out. I know it probably will work out and like we'll do whatever we need to in the future, but like right now I just don't know when or how we will like necessarily put down roots. But mentally, the roots are there, even though we're just living like year by year leases in apartments. Thanks for your questions. I feel like this was really fun. Let me know if you'd like for it to happen again someday. And again, thank you to Magic Bra for sponsoring this video. See you next time.
With my time, been trying to make